Hello everybody and welcome to the 1-point perspective lesson. So we are going to start very simply with drawing boxes in 1-point perspective. So here's how to start. So first what you're going to need is you're going to need a ruler, and you're going to need a pencil and just a plain white piece of paper. Could be printer paper, but the best thing to use is just a blank piece of paper. So then what you're gonna do is, and this is all on the PowerPoint that I posted, so you're gonna be posting when you're finished your drawing, and you're just gonna look over the PowerPoint because it shows you step by step how to do this, but I also recorded a video, so you have that as well. So you're gonna begin by drawing a horizon line, and it's right at the center of the page. And this is where the sky meets the ground, the horizon line. Okay, so you're just gonna draw a line. It could be like a little bit higher than the center. Some people like it directly in the center. Doesn't really matter as long as it's not too high up or too down below. Okay, and then you're gonna draw your vanishing point. So your vanishing point, we're gonna put it somewhere in the center here. And it's just a dot. And everything that we're gonna draw is gonna merge into that dot and connect to it, so you'll see that. So in this tutorial, we will be drawing 3 floating boxes in 1-point perspective. So we're gonna start with the box on the top here. So all you have to do is draw a square here on the top. So you're gonna use your ruler so it looks nice and clean. And it's just a square. And we're gonna turn it into a square or a box in 1-point perspective. And it doesn't matter what size your square is. Don't make it too small. Don't make it too big. Maybe choose to do it a size that's somewhere in the middle here. Okay. All right, I got my square. All right, so once I have my square, what you're gonna do is you're gonna draw different lines that reach the vanishing point. So we're gonna start with each of the corners here, and they're all gonna connect to the vanishing point. So I like to start on the left side, to the left corner of my box, and you're gonna make sure that your ruler is touching the corner of the box, and also it has to touch the vanishing point. That's the main point. If it's going like this or going like this, then your box won't be in 1-point perspective. So it has to touch that point that's on the horizon line. So we're gonna draw a line going from the corner all the way to the vanishing point right now. And I recommend to draw lightly because you will be erasing part of this line later. Okay, then I'm going to connect my next corner of my box to my vanishing point, and again, make sure that the ruler is touching the corner of the box and also the vanishing point. Okay. All right, so once we did that, we can close our box and make the sides of our box here. So in order to do that, and I just want to mention also, we didn't have to draw a line going through that corner because we're only going to draw what would be visible. Okay, so now we're going to close our box and make it more like a box and not a square. So to do that, we're going to draw parallel lines. So the next step is you're going to take your ruler and you're going to bring it to the side of your square here. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to bring it out and make sure that the ruler stays straight. So you don't want it like this. You don't want it like this. Make sure that you're taking the ruler from the side of the square, you're dragging it out, and it stays parallel, it stays vertical and it doesn't slant. Okay, so now we got our side of our square there, and now you're gonna do the same thing on the bottom side of the square. So you're gonna take your ruler and then you're gonna drag it down. Make sure you're not making your ruler slanted at all. It's gonna stay horizontal because it's on the bottom and parallel to the bottom of that square. Okay, so then we got our first box now. So you can see that this box has its sides. You would see the bottom of the box and the side because with this box, it's above the horizon line. So it's almost like you're looking at it from a worm's eye view. You'd see the bottom of it. And after you're done, what you can do is you can erase the extra lines here. So all you see is the box that we just drew above the horizon line. And now we have a box in 1-point perspective. Okay, so the next step is we're gonna draw a box that's below the horizon line. So right now you're gonna draw a square, just like we did above the horizon line, around the same size. Some students like to measure it out perfectly, the square, just as long as it's not too small or too big. Okay, so I got my square here. And now you're gonna do the same thing. So I'm gonna connect all my corners to my vanishing point. And I'm gonna make sure the ruler is touching the corner here and it has to touch the vanishing point here. So it has to reach it over here in order for me to draw my line. So I'm gonna line it up perfectly. Okay, my corner's touching it and my ruler's touching the vanishing point, so I'm good. So I'm gonna draw a light line. Okay, then I'm gonna go to the next corner. And I'm drawing a little darker than you should just so you can see in the video, but you can draw this pretty lightly. Making sure the corner's touching, making sure the ruler's also touching the point. And I draw my last line. Now for this corner here, if I drew a line across, that wouldn't make sense because you wouldn't see this in real life. You wouldn't see this line going across, right? Because the face of the shape covers it. So I don't have to draw this line in the corner here because it would be behind everything. All right, so now I'm gonna draw my parallel lines. So again, now you're gonna take your ruler, you're gonna match it to the top part of the shape, match it to the side of it, you're gonna bring it out and up, and you're not gonna slant it like this or slant it like that. That's one mistake that people make. They'll bring the ruler out and start moving it. So one side's higher, one side's lower, and it's not level. So you want to make sure the ruler is level and parallel to this exact line here. Okay, my ruler looks pretty straight. And now I just drew the top part of my box now. It's turning into a box. See, this is parallel to this. Now I can do the same thing on the side of my shape. Bring the ruler out, and I'm keeping my ruler straight, just as it was on the side of that square. And now I'm gonna draw my line. my parallel line. Okay, so now I have a side of this box as well. So this is a full-on box right here. So I can erase my extra lines that I don't need that helped me make my box. And now we have a box that's below the horizon line that's in 1 point perspective. And this could be considered in bird's eye view because you would see the top of the box. All right, so lastly, what we're going to do is we're gonna draw a box that is level with everything else, and that will be the last box that we'll draw here. So for the last one, we're gonna draw a box that's right at the horizon line here. So we'll start just with the square again. And we're gonna draw it so it's actually going right over the horizon line. So I'll start with a line, and the top part's above the horizon line, the bottom part's below the horizon line. That works. Okay, so I got a square here, so I'm gonna do the same thing really. So I'm gonna start with this corner here, and I'm gonna match the corner to the vanishing point. Okay, now the bottom corner I'm gonna match to the vanishing point. All right, and then there's two corners on the side here, and it wouldn't make sense to match those to the vanishing point because they would be hidden. You wouldn't see them. You know, they would be behind the square that we just did. So you can just leave those alone. You don't have to match lines from those corners as well. So that's all you need here because it's right on the horizon line. And then we got to close it though to make it a box, because right now we got a square and then two lines that are reaching the vanishing point, but we didn't close the shape here. So we got to close it and make it a box. So again, the last step is you take your ruler, you match it to the side of the square, you drag it out without making your ruler slanted. So you don't want to go like this, you don't want to go like that. You want to keep it straight as best as you can, so that it's parallel to this line right here and it looks the same. Okay, and then we closed it. So the last step is you just erase those extra vanishing point lines, but you're not going to erase your horizon line. You never want to erase that unless you are painting or drawing over it. But for this exercise, do not erase your horizon line. You could only erase it when it's inside of the box here as the last step. It's going through a box, or if there's extra. But this you could keep, this you could keep, because that's our ground line here. All right, so you just drew 3 boxes in 1 point perspective. One is worm's eye view, one is at eye level, and one is at bird's eye view. So there you go, that was our first exercise, and in our next video we will be drawing buildings in 1 point perspective for our final activity. Thank you. Bye.